What's up YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Homebrew Subaru. I'm going to voice over this high-speed footage of me driving into Rennell Sound while I was on my trip to Haida Gwaii. Just a reminder to go and visit my other channel, Detox Proxy, for more of my content. Channel link will be in the description. YouTube has already recommended a video and it's doing really well. I will be uploading a new adventure video there tomorrow. Thanks to everyone that has subscribed already. It means a lot to me. In this video, I want to talk about the future overall plans for my Subaru Forester to make it more trail capable than it is stock. Before I start, this video makes a great filler in this week because if you didn't hear last week, I am now 100% currently between jobs. If that wasn't enough, my water heater bailed on me a few weeks back, and when I went to take a look at it, I found the tank seeping water through. So finally this weekend I was able to get a new tankless on-demand system installed, plumbed and wired. An unexpected cost that I saved a small fortune doing myself. So needless to say, I've been busy with some other things. My Forester is a 2004 X model. That is basically the base platform in that year. There is no rear limited slip differential. It has rear drum brakes and very limited options from the factory. One upgrade I have managed already was adding in some seats from an older 99 Forester that were in better condition and heated. I wired the heated seats with all the proper connections and a relay. Even the switch from the 99, which is an SF body style, popped right into the 2004's center console. I've had this Forester for around 7 years. When I first picked it up, I did the normal full tune-up, some brakes, and new tires. The left front fender was damaged, so I replaced that. The windshield was cracked and has gotten worse since. I drove it on and off for a long time and then let it sit for a couple of years. After bringing it back out, I got most of the needed maintenance done again with all new front and rear brakes. The right front CV axle was replaced with a new ball joint. The left CV is starting to make some very light noise at this point. I also hacked in an upstream O2 sensor and it's still in there working just fine. Really though, other than some wiper blades, oil changes, and keeping the oil topped up, the Forester is a gas up and go type of vehicle. It's hands down being the best vehicle I've ever owned. The clock has 175,000 kilometers or approximately 110,000 miles. It's not very high. However, the old naturally aspirated 2.5 liter head gaskets leak oil heavily and the engine has had piston slaps since I bought it. It's never gotten any louder and doesn't seem to burn any oil. I don't even know if the timing belt has ever been done because I sure haven't done it. The valve covers leak, the oil pan is really rusty, the engine cross member and subframe are very corroded as well. The clutch I can tell is old. Whether or not it's been changed or had a disc replaced is difficult to say. It shudders when cold for the first few shifts and the pedal doesn't feel as good as what I would like it to be. It holds great still, but there's no way I would gamble with it where it might need to take a little abuse. I would almost prefer having an automatic transmission, but what can I say? I like dumping a clutch. The suspension, although very old and worn, is not completely empty of gas charge and the mounts are still holding. It's gotten me this far and time for an overhaul. The front and rear sway bars are still in there with new sway bar links up in the front in the earlier days. The rear subframe is crusty but not failing. Most of the rear components will be seized, so substantial parts changing will require the rear subframe to come down for a complete overhaul, I believe. It's a complete project all on its own. The Firestone tires were bought new, but they weather cracked while the Forester was sitting for so long. It didn't get to the point where I felt they were dangerous, and I got some good trips out of them. And they'll be suitable for the rest of the time they're going to be on there. Other than the subframes, the body is actually in really good condition. There isn't much rust on the Forester at all, and I suppose that is one of the reasons I feel it's probably worth my time and money using it as my overland trail rig. Other pros are it doesn't cost me much for insurance or fuel, I have a good supply of used parts, it's older so who cares, and well, it's a cool thing to do to a Subaru. I'm going to outline my plan and the stages I think I should do this in. Stage 1 is the engine, hopefully before the timing belt snaps and the intake valves have sex with the pistons. I'll tear it down at least to try a set of pistons and rings at the bare minimum because I would like to quiet down the piston slap if I can. I have another good used engine, so there's no need to get into a full rebuild. New seals, gasket sets, timing kit, ignition parts. I already have a like new oil pan and water pump, and I'll also use the naturally aspirated unequal length style header that was on the Turbo Impreza. I also have the lightweight flywheel and high torque pressure plate from the old Turbo Impreza. It will all fit right into the Forester with a brand new 6-puck disc that I purchased for the old car but never got to use. A little further exhaust work to get some Subi rumble and maybe an intake of sorts. Nothing too modified. I want it to be as reliable as it can be. While the engine is out, it would be the best time to address the cradle and subframe. If they are in really bad condition, I will consider replacing them. I will see how that plays out when the time comes. This would get the Forester in top running condition again. If selling it would be a better option, this would be the time to do so. Stage 2 would need to be suspension and tires. Let's start with the tires and wheels. Currently, there is 17-inch wheels on the Forester. I have the strong set of 16-inch aluminum wheels from the 99 Forester I want to use instead of going with 15-inch wheels, which are a better option overall for tire sizing. I am sort of set on some BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrains in 215/70/16. It's an available size, just not that common. Of course, I will have to check other options and pricing when the time comes. Bigger tires will require more suspension. I plan on the cheaper route with using block mounts for the top of the struts like most people use to lift their Subi. I think Anderson Fabrications is the name to go to. They're very popular and build some custom functional products. The popular 2-inch front and 2.5-inch rear with trailing arm spacers I think is all I need to be more trail ready and get the tire clearance I am looking for. If absolutely needed, I can always fab up some of my own 3/8 or 3 1/4 spacers later on to get more clearance or level out from front to rear. A new cheaper set of strut assemblies front and rear to replace the old worn ones, remove the sway bars, try and have a reasonable wheel alignment done, and likely install a roof basket attached to the rack to hold a full-size spare. Stage 2 would be good for most of what I want to do. Stage 3 is when I've decided this Subaru trail rig idea is cool as fuck and I'm taking it much further. There really isn't a lot that would need to be done, but I think traction and clearance could still be an issue at times. My Forester with its open rear differential could really benefit from a torque locker kit. In order to get it in there though, the rear subframe is going to need to come down to get everything apart so the diff can be modified or changed for another differential I have on the side that I would pre-modify. It would be a huge job at home without a hoist and take some extra planning to get done in a reasonable time frame. The locker would give a ton of extra traction in the rear, getting the Subi up and over much tougher obstacles. Adding some ruggedness and approach angle with a suitable bumper would be nice also. I have found a thread in a forum where a few guys have mounted a welded off-road bumper for a Ford Ranger onto their Foresters. It fits really well, looks decent, and allows for a winch to be mounted, which, let's face it, could come in really handy in an unexpected situation. Easier to mount some lighting onto the bumper as well. I think a skid plate for the front would finish off Stage 3 if it doesn't go on in Stage 2. I think that will be my attack approach to this build. I like my Forester, but an XS or an XT model with some cleaner subframes would be a better option. Both of them have limited slip rear differentials, and the XT being turbo for the extra power. I kept my eyes open over the years, and Foresters get such good resale value that it's been difficult finding another one at a good deal that isn't trashed already. If I get into Stage 2 in this build, then there will be no reason to sell it. I think it will be a great little rig to camp with, and there will be lots of added extras to make it even more travel worthy. Figuring out storage for easy organized access would be nice. A shower idea a friend was explaining could be worth doing. I think what I will get sooner than later is one of those tent doorways that go on the back of the SUVs and crossovers. The tent will allow for some much better airflow through the Forester on those warmer summer days when it's hot and humid with rain. Since I'm using the Forester to actually camp inside, I think it's something I need. So that is the plan for my almost 20-year-old Subaru Forester. I'm not exactly excited. It's just the time and money involved with doing another build after the WRX is more complete. The 240SX needs a little love too before I drive it again or sell it to someone else. I will start with the Forester's engine and clutch before my next bigger road trip to make sure it's reliable enough. I don't expect time and money to allow for Stage 2 before then. The windshield really needs to be done, so it's high on the list as well before another big trip. Like I said, the Forester has been the best vehicle I've ever owned. Hopefully I can build it the way I want and keep it around. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here and haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below, and I will see you in the next one. Not like this one, where I lied to you last week and you didn't see me this week. Just kidding.